for shorts.
Yeah. Okay. YouTube is saying you're live. I think we're live on YouTube
We are
finally.
not. Oh yeah. Oh, you. We are. We
You
are.
live?
But
Okay.
no intro.
No, I did play the intro thing on Twitch and YouTube. Just I went live on YouTube and then switched to the Twitch tab, so YouTube didn't go live at all. I love
Our
YouTube
audio
sometimes.
is- Our audio is cracking and buzzing, dude. Like on YouTube, at least. I think it's when you speak.
How about now? Is it better? Is it much better?
It is better, but I can hear the ocean behind you for some reason.
What? The ocean? Okay. One second. Give me a second. Okay, let me just try to figure out what's going on here. Is this better?
Yeah, it's good.
I have no idea what happened.
Your video is stuck.
No, I'm just not moving.
I'm
I was just staying in one spot.
Yeah, seems good.
Okay, cool.
Seems good. Yeah, guys, let us know if there's an issue or something.
Okay, yeah, this should. Okay, I don't know. Everything looks good over here on OBS, so I'm really not sure. Let us know if something's happening.
Seems good.
But yeah. Hello, and welcome to the Nandemo podcast, where we are going to be talking about anger. This might be. I'm not saying it is going to be, but it might be a shorter episode because I did exercise, guys.
Angry and walk off.
I did exercise today, if you can believe it. I moved off my fat ass and I did some exercise. Also,
Congratulations.
I dieted, which is involuntarily. I couldn't eat food for a few days, and I actually lost like.
Not couldn't eat, bro. Chose not to eat.
Yeah, I know I couldn't eat. I didn't feel like eating. I felt like puking if I ate. So I managed to lose like 2 kgs in that time. So I was like, hey, if I'm anyway starving and losing weight, why don't
Not a recommended diet, guys.
I mean, yeah, don't starve. Yeah. Just never starve. But hey, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, come on. And yeah, so I started doing some exercise, and I'm really, my legs are like paining. They're on fire right now because I did squats. Ugh. I do not recommend exercise. It sucks.
But I exercise.
Yeah, but I exercise again.
No, dude, but you get to that stage where you're like, it feels good after like a nice workout, right? Like, have you ever reached that stage if you exercise enough?
Yeah, I used to be this very. I used to be an exercise freak. I used to be a gym freak. I used to put photos of myself at the gym and shit. Of all the things I would do, of my muscles.
Damn, when was this?
Very long ago, before I met you.
Then. Yeah.
As a regular gymmer, so to speak. And yeah, I have felt that it's just gonna take a long time. Sixfine.pro is sending freaking.
Can you remove this comment? Can you ban them?
Yeah. Remove.
But yeah.
I want to know how these bots find our.
Pay us if you want us to advertise.
Yeah, I mean, pay us and we will definitely do that.
Your video is stuck, dude.
Yeah.
It's back. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that user has been hidden on the channel. Unfortunately, would have been a nice sponsor, but what can we do?
Yes.
But yeah, let's talk
what can we do?
Let's talk about anger, Sid. How angry are you in general?
I would say it's very rare for me to get angry. Like, it's almost never happens. Same. It happens still, but it's very, very rare.
Same.
I know it's the opposite for you.
What?
Hey, we will deep dive into this. Let's just unravel it slowly. So, anger, right?
Yeah.
Anger is something I've dealt with all my life. Like, my childhood and everything. Like, people around me were always angry, lashing out, so because of that, I have turned into a person where I'm like, I can live without anger. I can live without, like, I find other solutions than being angry at something. And I've learned to live that way because of how much I hated that part of my childhood, right?
Hmm.
And anger is normal. Like, everyone feels angry. You see people lashing out in different ways. Like, and it's normal to feel anger. Like, everyone feels it. But, to like vomit it on other people is what
Is where the
I
problem comes in.
received a lot as a kid, and that I do not do. Like, I don't even think I get angry a lot because, like, a lot of anger is caused by emotions, and when you feel those emotions, anger is one of those emotions,
And
right?
we are
That lead
dead
to anger.
inside, okay?
Yeah, we are dead inside, so who feels angry when you're dead? No, of course you do feel emotions, but the logical side of my brain also processes things at the same time. I'm not like an overly emotional person, as some people describe themselves as, or others as. I would say I'm in the middle, like a good balance of both. I'm not on either end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But no, but because of that, I've learned I don't get angry a lot. I usually, like, if someone's yelling at me, I'm like, oh yeah, there's something going on with you, like,
Yeah.
what's going on with you, kind of thing. And I've had a lot of issues in life because I don't get angry.
In what way?
But so, like, a lot of friends and relationships and all these things, yeah, I may not have told you this, Guru, but they feel it's strange that I don't get angry and pissed at things. They feel like that it's weird, like that I'm hiding something, or like that's not normal for a human. Like, and I always thought that's so strange. Like, do I need to pretend to get angry and pissed at something? Like just because you're not used to it,
Who are
is
these
it
people?
like, it's just a lot of people from my past. I've had these constant Bob and Bob and Bob and Bob, right? And they find it really strange that I don't get angry, and they think something's wrong because of that. Like, it's been a problem of mine throughout life,
Interesting.
and I never understood it. Yeah, I'm like, just because you're used to anger, do you want me to get angry? They were like, yeah, because if you don't get angry at things, that means there's something wrong. How is it possible that nothing makes you angry and pisses you off? And but I don't like, it's confusing. Like, it's not that nothing, like, there are things that piss me off, and like, of course there are, right? There are things that annoy you, but like, I don't get angry and lash out. Like, that's just not me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
Fair.
what about you? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
So similar story to you in terms of how people around me were very angry. But what happened to me was it kind of resulted in me being a very angry person as a result of that. So I would
Okay.
I would take that. I would. So what did I learn? I learned that, hey, if you're angry, you like shout at someone, you fight with people, and you do all that. And then I started doing that in everyday life. So I would be in constant arguments, and I would get physical fights and stuff like that. And then over time, especially after like shifting to Mumbai and then slowly like realizing that it wasn't really helping me in any way, I became a lot calmer. But so I have two versions of angry. One version is like just ranting, right? I'm not really angry about it, but it's just like an annoyance.
you're annoyed.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I can't believe this is happening. I really want to talk about it. Like, oh my god, guys, this is so bad. That's I have that, and then I have like what I would call like righteous anger, in the sense that I don't get angry without something like so it has to be something that that ignores a moral of mine, or intentionally defies a moral of mine that I feel very strongly about. Like, for example, let's say if somebody got fired in office for no particular reason, or they were shouted at in office, then that times I get angry and I'm like, listen, that's not how you do things. But I don't remove my anger out on them, but I'm like, okay, I'm not happy with the way things are going right now. Like, this is not cool.
So
So
wait, do you project the anger, or do you just feel it?
feel it. I never project anger anymore.
Okay.
It's almost never done.
Yeah.
And even in times, even in personal relationships, this is more of a professional setting, but even in personal relationships, when I get angry, I either just go silent and don't talk, where I'm like, I know if you push me more, I'm going to go down to your level, so I'm just going to not do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Or I'm just like, you know what, look, here's the problem. I'm really disappointed in what you're doing. I can't believe you're doing this, and honestly, I see no point in shouting at you.
Yeah.
I see no point in raising my voice. I just think this was really stupid what you did, and that's it. I just
Yeah, that's what I prefer, honestly. Like, being blunt about it is a nice way of telling people, because I think not doing that leads to like more anger, right,
yeah,
towards the end of it, because you're bottling these things up, right?
yeah.
Because,
So
like, of course, yeah, sorry,
no,
continue.
no, go
What
on,
were you
man.
saying? Hmm. I was
You
saying, of course, I've had like problems with people, right? Like, living with roommates and all these things, working with people, I've had problems with them, but I've always like been like direct about it. Like, yo, do this is not like in a nice voice, like how I normally talk. Like, I just tell them, yeah, this dirty, like clean this, like don't make noise, I'm sleeping, like normal, like these kinds of things, right? I've never like lashed out, like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, oh, like that's I never did that kind of stuff, right? And I don't think it's necessary, like things do piss me off, things do anger me, but like I don't like lash out violently or like yell at someone, because I don't think it's necessary, honestly. Like, I think there are solutions. And even when it comes to extreme cases, like, yeah, I have got into situations where I've had to fight people for self-defense. Like, that has
oh my
happened
god.
before, but that's like, that's like, like, okay, this guy's gonna fucking punch me if I
Yeah,
don't like hit him back, kind of thing. Like, so those situations are different, that's more like, for self-defense. That's extreme situations. But yeah, normally, and I don't know why you haven't had like, if we talk about relationships, right, how they talk about, like, they say, if you like, you have all these people like, oh, if you don't fight, that means you don't love each other and all that kind of like, I
yeah.
believe it's bullshit,
I've
because
heard.
I believe you can live, like, you can be in a relationship with someone without fighting.
Yeah,
Like,
of
that's what I
course.
believe. And I know there are lots of people who are in relationships who don't fight, and have like, it is possible. And most of my relationships like have barely fought, like they've all ended like talking like, normal people, and like, it's like doesn't happen. But yeah,
Yeah,
what about you? You can.
yeah. So it like the relationship thing. Even I've heard that where it's like the more number of
Hmm.
fights you get past, the stronger you are. Like no, that's
Yeah.
stupid. Why the fuck are you
Hmm.
fighting so much? Just chill a little in life.
I know,
But
right?
but speaking of relationships, there's this thing I practice in every relationship. So I never get angry at my partner for anything. Like
Hmm.
irrespective of what they do, I always try to
Yeah.
talk it out. Even in like, and I've been in some extreme cases, and you know that. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going
Yeah.
to
For
say it
sure.
all out here because I don't think it's necessary for the conversation. But there've been places where the
Hmm.
other person has been really really angry, or the other person has done something
Hmm.
really really stupid and unforgivable and blah
Hmm.
blah. But I'm just like I just talk it out and try to settle it. But I have this thing. Okay, if somebody so I'm not perfect by any means in this case, so I do I
Yeah.
do
Of course.
feel the anger, and I know
Yeah.
but I'm conscious enough to know that okay,
Hmm.
if I feel like I'm about to lash out, I will stop myself from
Hmm.
doing that in multiple ways.
Hmm.
And the first thing is to pause the conversation. So I've
Hmm.
practiced it with everybody. It's an unspoken thing. Okay, all I do is send their name, okay, their name with a full stop, okay, and then after that I say we'll talk about this later, full stop.
You're
And
talking about work or like?
no, no, in personal relationships, like with
Oh, okay,
partners.
okay. Oh.
So this just name full stop, talk about this
Hmm.
later, full stop. And it has always worked. Okay, every single time it has worked. Okay, because the minute they see their name with a full stop and I'm sending it, they're like, okay, this guy is not. He's gonna fuck me up right now if I say anything
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And they're like, okay, you know
Hmm.
what? We'll take a break, we'll take a breather, and then we'll talk about this
Hmm.
again. And then
Hmm.
it's been fine afterwards. And it like there've been a lot of stupid fights. Like fights in my relationships just go like the other person is shouting, and I'm like, okay, calm down, like, chill. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a better way to do this. And
Hmm.
and even for me and a lot of other people, I think it's been normalized to hear shouting and have people show anger in certain ways. And I don't think
Yeah.
that's a healthy thing for people to do at all. It's just very stupid.
Dude, everyone, it's like, especially being from here, like like my personal experience being from India, like everyone yell, like your parents yell at you, your teachers yell at you. We grew up with teachers hitting kids, dude. Like everyone yells at you, like in companies, your bosses yell at you, like when people work, like it's normal here. It's like an accepted way of like communicating for some reason,
Yeah,
which is insane.
yeah,
And it affects people, like, because then that passes on to people, and like people like go into this Stockholm syndrome thing. Like I was telling you, right, that day I was talking to Bob, my cousin. She was like, yeah, my boss yells a lot, but when, like, in times of trouble, like, he really defend us, so it's okay, like, I really like him, but he really yells at us a lot. And I'm like, that's insane that you would say something like that, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's like
Thank
when
you.
your parents tell you like,
Yeah.
I raised you, I bought you clothes and sent you to school. I'm like, dude, why the fuck did you have a kid if you weren't ready to do all those things? Like expecting gratitude for just raising a kid is stupid. Like, of course, the kid will understand eventually that, yeah, I'm very grateful for all the hard work you put in and all the things. Like, I'm grateful for my parents too, for all the things they've done for me. But
Oh, of course, of
but every time
course.
they say that, I'm like, who asked you to give birth to me? If this was such a pain for you, why did you bother having kids? Like, did you, like, if it's such a pain in the ass, like, really, you had to buy so many things, you had to send me to school, you had to wake me up and do it. Like, did you really have to do? And they're like, oh, okay, so you're saying you just want to die? I'm like, oh my god, no. I mean, I do,
Yeah,
but no, not like
it's
that.
frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
dude, like, if we start talking about childhood problems, like, this episode could go on for like 4 hours, so I'm not gonna get started on it. But I understand why it leads
Yeah.
to situations of anger. Yeah.
yeah, and the thing is, like, so I in regards to work as well, there's a very weird dichotomy, I think, in the workspace right now, which is that I've noticed a lot of younger people. Like, I'm talking about people younger than me also. Like, now we're getting into the old space, like the mid-old space, But I'm talking like people our age and younger are much calmer and get into a lot lesser fights in the workspace in general. Like, I'm not even, I mean, when I say fights, I'm
Yeah.
talking about like, okay, you know what? I'm not okay with this. Even that is not, it's just non-existent. Like, I've only heard one, like, I cracked some really weird, stupid joke and, about masturbation or something, and one guy's like, what the fuck, dude? And that's the maximum I've ever heard him raise his voice at me. So these things are, except for the bosses, of course, the bosses are they raise their voice quite a lot, and that's something I feel like happens in a lot of places where your boss always keeps shouting at you, and they even say like, this is the way to efficiently make someone do something. And I'm like, no, you're ruling out of fear, and the only thing we're going to do is learn how to please you and not actually do the job very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is very sad. And this is something I learned from my
very
dad as
sad.
well, because my dad does this thing where he gets irrationally angry every time someone messes up their job, and it can be for anything. Like, and he specifically hates it when someone makes an assumption. And I know every boss is like, every boss hates this thing where it's like, I thought it was supposed to be done this way, and they were like, oh, you thought, huh? Why don't you just come and confirm first? Like, dude, really, is that really something to get angry about?
It's insane. And like, they don't know that you can work with people without yelling at them. Like, and I told you, like, I cannot work with anyone who's yelling at me or raising their voice, because there are better ways to communicate. And for those who haven't experienced it, it is possible. Like, there are companies that exist around the world where you come in, even if you have a problem, you just say it in a normal voice.
Yeah, you do, in a very,
You can communicate normally, like, in a calm tone,
with respect for the other person in general.
Yes. It's like, I just thought of a
Yeah.
design metaphor to explain it in my head right now. It's like, when you have to emphasize text, when you have to emphasize a title, right? So the words already make a difference. If you're increasing the font size, from like 12 points to 14 points, you're already emphasizing. It's already bigger. That's what people look at first. You don't need to go and make it bold on top of that. Like, come on. Like, that's enough. So if you just use your words, you just don't need to go and yell those words out.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does.
Yeah. But yes, I know a lot of people do increase the font size and make it bold too. So yeah, it's a little tip for y'all. No need.
Yeah. In fact, if I remember correctly, I believe you're more of a proponent of making things bold instead of increasing text size.
Yeah, you could do either or.
Yeah,
like,
but
no, actually, it depends on like the design. It changes.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. I don't use bold that much, but yeah, again.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I also think like the problem with this. So, okay. So a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy again for this, saying this out loud. But even if you're getting angry for something that's going to cost you a lot of money for the company, or unless you're like absolutely, unless you as a single person single-handedly with one mistake destroyed the entire company and make sure it can't go on,
Yeah.
I don't think it justifies you raising your voice in any way. But if the company can actually be destroyed by one person because of one mistake, then what the fuck kind of company have you built in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's on you. And also,
Yeah.
there are, like you said, there are situations where you should get angry. Like any kind of abuse, anything that sends you to prison, extreme situations, it's totally valid, right? Seeing injustice of some kind, like we are not talking about situations like that.
Yeah.
Those are things that it's just human to be angry and oppose
Yeah.
those things. But we're talking about normal situations, life, where you don't need to be angry.
Yeah. And especially like I follow this 333 rule, which I mean it isn't like a be all end all way to do things. It's just something that gave me perspective more than anything. So it's like, will it matter in 3 days? Okay, so it can be 3 hours, 3 days, 3 months, or it can be like 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, and I look at the 3 years part of it. So, and it's something I look at for when I if I mess up something at work, for example, like for recently I forgot to put a link in the description of the post, and I got a this thing for that, the message for that, and I got a little sit down for that as well. And I was like, okay, but I it got fixed within half an hour, so it didn't even matter that it was there.
Yeah.
While I
Doesn't
agree
matter.
it was a mistake and it shouldn't have happened, it was on
Yeah.
me, but there's no reason to get angry about it. It's just like, hey, this you forgot this, just add it in. That's all it should have been.
Yeah, and a lot of people have this idea that if you don't like yell at them and tell them and like basically like destroy them mentally for it, they won't improve.
Yeah,
And
which is stupid.
I think that's bullshit. Like come on, like people aren't that hopeless. I
Yeah.
don't need to yell at you for you to improve. Like
Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
and
Like,
and
and that's a very common way of practice, like here.
yeah, and that just shows that you have no idea how to actually teach someone or how to help someone improve in the first place. Because like you're a teacher, okay, and
Yeah.
I'm not a formal teacher, but I've also like I've taught a lot of my friends and juniors and stuff a lot of different things in software and so on. And I'm pretty sure I can say this for both of us. We never yell at students, or we never get
Oh,
angry.
never,
Yeah.
never.
And it's just like, okay, you made a mistake, but that's not how you do it. You do it like this. So
Yeah.
the only time I've gotten angry at someone is when they like this really pisses me off. But again, I don't take it out on them. I'm just like, dude, I'm done with you. I don't care anymore. Which is that when someone says, like, for example, oh my god, you know what, I'm not good at this, I suck at this so much, or they're like, oh my god, I don't have enough skills, I want to learn more things, I want to be more active, and then I sit and try to help them out for hours and hours, and then they just don't make a single effort to actually implement any of those things. You know who I'm talking about. And then I get irrationally angry. I'm like, dude, you waste your time, it's fine, okay, but you said you wanted to improve, so I sat with you, and now you're wasting my time. And I know I'm not curing cancer in that time, but I'm just like, it just feels like I just whatever I did was meaningless, and I'm not okay with doing meaningless things in my life.
I 100% understand. I feel the same thing. Like, even when I'm teaching my students, if I have some students who aren't interested, like it still feels like I don't feel good. Like it doesn't matter if I'm getting paid for it or not,
Yeah.
But even if if they're not interested in it, like because I'm also putting in effort to teach them, I actually try to help my students. I'm like, I always ask them, like, is this method working for you? Do you want to try something else? Because you're learning, you should tell me if it's working. If it's not
Yeah.
useful, there's no point in sitting here and learning. Like I keep telling them, what do they think, and asking their opinion. Because like also, like, because of my childhood and how I've grown up and this country, and because of how people are angry all the time, I hate authority. Like like I can't stand any form of that. Like it's actually an issue with me where, like, if I'm going to drink water and you tell me, hey, drink water, I'm like, no, fuck, you're not going to drink water.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that kind of thing,
that's definitely an issue with
Like,
you
it's
in general,
affected me
okay?
like that. Yeah, it's affected me that way, and that's something I do need to work on. But yeah, because of situations like these, I hate authority. And I always try not to be that in any case when I'm
Yeah.
teaching someone or I'm working with someone. I try to be like more like, I'm helping you, we're doing this together kind of thing, instead of like,
Yeah.
do this, I tell you, do this kind of deal.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's also people. I also work with people who follow that same line of thought, who also aren't authoritative, and it works very well. I think that's like, I think it's a far better working relationship than like the authoritative one.
Yeah, and the thing
They
is,
have
like,
hierarchy and like
I prefer working with people. Okay, so firstly, like, I'm not working in a place that is like insanely like top notch or anything, but I would rather have someone who is ready to improve on themselves and makes a lot of mistakes, even if they make the same mistake 100 times, rather than have someone
yeah.
who does everything perfectly but then is a complete asshole about it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't care about your perfect work if you're just such a terribly flawed human being that you can't even, like, others can't even stand to be around you.
I know,
And
right?
and the thing is, it really tears me up because I know this is true for a lot of the people we really appreciate in life. Like Kubrick was like he wasn't an angry asshole, but he was an asshole.
Yeah,
Like
he
he
was
did
an
some
asshole for
fucked
sure.
stuff, and
Oh, a
I
lot of yeah.
yeah. And while I really love his movies and admire his art, I feel like, hey man, what would you have been less of a
Could be
genius if you,
nicer.
yeah,
Yeah.
like would The Shining not have been as impactful if that woman's life wasn't ruined over it? I think it would have
Yeah,
been
I
just
know,
as
right?
impactful because
Yeah, definitely.
he was a good director. He could make actors put out their best performance, so there's no reason for him to go that way.
And there are definitely other ways to bring out different emotions than
Yeah,
freaking, yelling at them and mentally damaging
yeah.
them. But it's insane. Like, yeah, he did some, like, they worked, but that's not the only way. Like,
Yeah.
that's not the only way it could have worked. There were other ways
I
if
mean,
he would have
it
explored them, I
it
believe.
worked. It worked in a larger sense, in the sense that, yeah, it became a timeless classic. But it didn't work in the sense that nobody really realized what happened to that poor woman,
Uh,
which
it
really,
left a timeless scar
yeah, at the
on
same
her
time, yeah.
mentally. Yeah, for sure. It
and
sucks.
and the same thing is like with, for example, Steve Jobs. He used to, like, about being a Buddhist, this was really weird to me, like reading about it. I was like, hey, he's a Buddhist, he must be like this calm dude. And then he used to cry all the time, and if
Oh,
people,
dude.
if things didn't go his way, and he used to shout at everybody, he used to fire people to, like, left, right, and center. And
Uh,
it's just,
yeah, but
and the thing is, I'm like,
it is.
he got the best people in the world to work on
I know,
things he
right?
wanted to work on. There was no reason for them to, like, ever leave Apple. Like, yeah, there are a lot of people who have become like giants in the industry from nothing because they worked with Apple for a long time and Steve Jobs really helped them and all that stuff. But I can't imagine the number of people who were just like, fuck, I wish I was making a difference in the world, but without making this guy, this asshole, the
Yeah,
most
I
famous
know.
one. Yeah.
It's crazy. And also talking about like the going to like Zen Buddhism and doing the mindfulness meditation and all those things, right? Like in my experience being in India, because there are lots of people who do that in India. Like it's very common here if anyone's listening from outside. Like in my experience, most people I know who've gone that path, where they do like this meditation, Vipassana, mindfulness, Buddhism, all these different sects of it, and or any of these ashrams and all these things. Like they're people who are like, I know, who are like have really short tempers, anger issues, like like always yell out at people, are usually assholes. Like those are the kind of people I've usually seen going for those things to improve them, which is great. Like like if it works, it works. But my experience doesn't really tend to help them,
Yeah,
like as
that's
far,
true.
and I know like throughout my life I've known tons of people who've done all these things, like,
I mean,
but
but it really
I've
depends
never
on whether
seen
they
it
do it
actually work.
properly. If they do it
Yeah,
properly.
that's what. If they do it properly, because like they do it and they talk about it as like this way that is really helping them,
Yeah.
and like it's amazing, and like I'm like, yeah, that, like I believe it because I've read about aspects of it and how it can help the human mind and all these things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, are you really applying it? Because
Hmm.
like like it's kind of two-faced, because you say
Yeah,
it's
saying
working
it,
and then
then
you're
you
like
do
yelling
this.
at
Yeah.
someone, or yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm confused.
Yeah. What's up, random
But
otaku?
it's a
Welcome.
journey. It's not a
Yeah,
what's up, random attack. But yeah, it's a journey. It's not like a instant
it
thing,
is.
right? So I know it takes time, and a lot of
It
people
does.
go through. And yeah, to control your anger, like therapy is one more thing that helps a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I know a person who says she goes to therapy and it helps her, and she doesn't really get helped
Mm.
by it.
Yeah, but depends. Yeah, so some people it doesn't help, but it helps a lot of people, right? And
Yeah. The thing about mindfulness
like,
is that it can be a really powerful tool in actually understanding more about yourself and
mhm.
how you're
Yeah.
coming off to other people. Because so the whole idea of mindfulness, like, is that
Hmm.
you understand that everything is interconnected, right? Like if I say this,
Hmm.
then this happens, then that happens, then this happens, and it
Yeah,
creates
yeah.
an entire chain that is just going to be
Mm,
destructive if you start with
mm.
destruction. So but if anybody does mindfulness but then they don't go deep enough, then it's never going to help them. But if they
Yeah,
do, then
thousand
there will be
percent.
change
Mm.
for sure. It's the same with therapy,
And
right? They try to help you understand how your actions are affecting others and
mhm.
yourself, which needs to be
Yeah,
internalized.
it needs to be understood and thought about. Like, of course, there are moments where we've gotten angry and like never lashed out violently, but like in my childhood, like there were moments where I was like, of course, look at my parents and like I didn't realize, but I was yelling. I was like, oh shit, I'm yelling. Like I hate this. Like those
Hmm.
moments have happened. You still get, but like over the years, as I've progressed, it's like
Yeah.
never. And it's very rare that it happens. And even among us, like
Yeah, yeah,
we
Among Us.
haven't, like how much have we really had like fights, like serious fights,
Literally never.
like like never. Like you can use those podcast clips where we're arguing, but arguing is different. Like those
Yeah.
aren't problems we have with each other. Like those are
Yeah, but
chill,
we also like thrive
those
on
are our
arguments. We just like that
yeah,
mental
yeah,
stimulation of like, yeah,
yeah.
I want to.
But we are not angry at each other at
Yeah,
that point.
we're just like passionate about the topic.
Yeah, we're just passionate about the topic. Like I wouldn't call that being angry.
Yeah.
And like so, and I believe like a lot of like I hear like even like in school, in college, like even I hear a lot of my friends saying, yeah, like they have this drama going on where they're
Yeah.
like having issues and fighting with their friends and all this. And I've never had this issue in my life. I've
Oh,
never had like
I have
fights
a
with friends. I've never had dramas with friends, with partners, with like anything. I've never had that. So I
I've
was
had
like,
a
because
big fight with this one guy who used to be a friend.
yeah, I know that. Is it that guy?
It's
Okay.
it's that
See,
guy.
yeah, but I've never had that. And because I haven't had these, maybe it's the people I choose to be like, okay, I'll talk to you. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
he's not like crazy or he has his shit
Yeah.
together kind of thing. But yeah, I've never had those experiences. Like, we've never like actually fought, right? I mean, like, fuck you, like, don't talk at me. Like, we said those as jokes, of course. But like, yeah, it's interesting to
Yeah.
think about that. Because there's no reason for it.
There's no reason for it at all. Yeah, but even the guy
Hmm.
I don't talk to is because again of what I
Yeah.
would call that righteous anger, where I'm like, okay, you
Yeah.
said something so fucked and so
Hmm.
insensitive to something that literally nobody can control. That yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't deserve it. I'm not gonna talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, there are people who I meet and I'm like, yeah, this guy is a dumbass, and I vanish from their
yeah.
lives and they never see me again. That's my way of getting
Yeah,
rid
same
of
thing. Like
people.
I didn't shout
Yeah.
at this guy. I didn't say anything. I just like
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
like, I'm done. I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore. That's it.
Hmm.
I'm pissed, and it's something I'm going to hold on to for a long time. Like, see, there have been I know when I talk, I have this animated anger that comes out for
Hmm.
random topics, but I'm not genuinely angry at someone. Like whatever, like
Yeah.
even my siblings think like, okay, you know what, you still holding on to that grudge from long ago. I'm like, I mean, yeah, like when I talk about it, I act as if it's a big deal, but then it's not. Like
Yeah,
it's just a thing that it's just like, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like exaggerating it for fun. I'm like, oh my god, how could that person do this to me? But I'm like, okay, it's chill. Like I'm going to talk to the person. I'm just still going to be like, yeah, what's up? I'm not going to be like, hey, yeah, fuck you. You know what? You did this to me like 5 years ago. So now I don't know, probably 10 years ago. But yeah, now I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Screw you. Like, it's been 10 years, dude. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't even think about you.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter. Most people just think about themselves. So, like, yeah, no one's
Yeah,
really thinking.
exactly.
Unless you have made that person so angry that they're on your mind all the
Yeah, all
time.
the time.
That
Yeah.
is. No, yeah, again, that like those situations are crazy, and like, yeah, usually it's, yeah, and I don't think you do need to be like this aggressive person, but And but a lot of times you see her like people mistaken like niceness for like weakness.
Yeah.
That's a thing I've seen a lot of time. Like just because you're nice, they think like whatever you can like
Yeah.
fuck. And like that's something I've been like, that's like because strange. Because like if you have to defend yourself and all these things, you will, right?
Yeah,
But
even
so
recently, like I had a very strict conversation with my boss where I was like, okay, listen, this has gone too far. I'm tired of your
exactly,
shit.
exactly.
Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with your. I'm not going to accept this shit anymore. And he was like, okay, you need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
stop shouting. I'm like, listen, I'm not shouting. This is literally the first time I'm talking. I'm being firm. I'm being aggressive.
Hmm.
I'm not
Yeah.
shouting. Okay, I'm not angry. I'm trying to show you that I'm
Hmm.
not going to take
Hmm.
this shit and back down. I'm going to stand my
Exactly.
ground. And he was like, oh
Hmm.
shit, I didn't know that was a thing.
Hmm. I didn't know that was the thing. I just yelled at
Yeah,
people.
I just yelled at people like, what? You can
Hmm.
do that?
Yeah. And it's insane. Like even I've had situations where people are like, yeah, Sid is nice. He won't say anything less. And like I was like, yo, can you like not do this? Like,
Yeah.
don't do this, like and they were like, oh, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, he he never talks formally like this,
Yeah.
like and I'm like, yeah.
No,
Um
but it's typical
I don't
anime
like to do
style.
it, but it is an anime. Like it's difficult to describe without giving an example. I don't want to give it because maybe it's too dark. But
Yeah.
um,
But it's a
maybe
typical
like a
anime thing,
smaller
right?
example for like yeah, like a smaller example. Like for example, one of my roommates when I lived in Singapore, right? So I used to live in like a small room with three people. Like it was insane, and you have to be considerate. You're living with two other people, right? And I had this dude used to like blast trance music at night. Like I was pretty nice to him. Like the first day we came, we went out for a walk, showed him around. He was like a few years younger, and it was his first time outside. And I'd been there for a couple of months. So I was showing him around, like helping him as much as I could and all that. And I was being really, really nice. He was being like this cool ass fucking like, he was like, yeah, fuck you, like yeah, and all like, that
Okay.
kind of thing. Like, just throwing
Yeah.
attitude, how they do. They like this pseudo superiority complex thing. And like I was like, whatever, like it doesn't bother me. And he starts blasting music at night. I wake up, I'm like, yo, can you like please like, switch it down? I need to sleep. He
Mm.
blasts it again. I'm like, yo, I've had enough of this. So like, yo, like, like if you don't switch that off, I will take that speaker and keep it outside the door, outside our house door.
Oh my god.
Please shut it down. And like my tone wasn't as nice, I was firmer,
Of
like,
course.
and like so, and he was like, after that, he was like, whoa, whoa, okay, cool. I'll like switch it off. And then he didn't play it ever again, you know? And the next day, he started crying for some reason because I wouldn't let him, because like I didn't even tell him anything, just because I spoke to him that way, like hit him in a way where he started crying.
Wow.
I was like, yo, dude, I didn't mean that. Like, I didn't yell or anything. Like, why are you feeling bad? And yeah, there are a lot of people who are emotionally reactive that way have a lot of insecurities, right? And when it gets hit, they like lash out in different ways, right?
Yeah. Definitely. No, the thing is like like
Yeah.
uh, the, if you don't get angry at all, and then something does piss you off, then everyone takes it a lot more seriously than if you do get angry all the time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Which
Yeah, it's like the boy who cried wolf shit.
yeah, it's a boy code bullshit.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm
Hmm.
saying it's an anime thing, because like if you look at literally any freaking anime, maybe except Attack on Titan, like everyone is like, hey, I'm so happy, I'm so jolly, oh
Hmm.
look at me, I'm fighting a villain, and then like something really that affects them or something they really care about gets hit, and then they're like, and you're like, okay, now okay, shit's gonna go down now.
Yeah,
Like
shit's
this
like
guy
One
is
Piece, like
pissed.
Luffy, dude.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like when Luffy is pissed, you're like, fuck. Like,
exactly.
yeah, he's proper fucking pissed.
Yeah,
And
and
there are times where you need to be pissed.
yeah, of course.
Like there are times, of course, 1000%, right?
Yeah.
A lot of situations, like, and there are lots of situations where people who are pissed react in some ways like which are wrong, like a lot of like domestic abuse cases and all these things are terrible, and those situations you do need to be pissed and act out, but out of care for the other person or out of care for yourself if you're in that situation.
No, the
The
problem with
reason
that is
matters.
you like.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
thing with domestic abuse is that one thing is
Hmm.
if you get pissed, the situation might escalate more, and if you're the one being abused, then it'll get worse and worse. That's always a possibility. And second thing is you don't have the I don't think you have the mental capacity to get pissed at the time, because you're like, what the fuck is going on right now?
No, I'm
So
yeah, but when I say pissed, I mean in a way where you're not all like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, like, not that is what I'm saying. where you don't
Yeah.
overlook it, because it's a very common thing, at least here, where
Yeah.
people see such things and they're like, it's okay, it's not that big a deal, like kind of thing, which I believe is wrong.
That's stupid. Yeah. If you see something
Yeah.
happening, then you should definitely speak.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Standing up for something that you truly believe in and getting angry about that. And I mean, in those cases, even shouting is completely fine in my book, because you're like,
Yeah.
because you're not shouting just for the sake of it. You're shouting about something that you can't believe someone is doing.
Exactly.
Like, so for Audie and I, when we were in Khargar, there was this dog, okay, which ran after this bike, and the guy stopped the bike and tried to take this giant rock and throw it on the dog. And both of us were like, hey, shut the fuck up, put that rock down right now, or we're going to beat you the shit up. And he was like, what the fuck, huh? What do you think they're doing? What if I had fallen off my bike? Would the dog pay my hospital bills? And we blasted him. We're like, what the fuck? Are you like mental? Are you like actually gone in the head? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? It's stupid. And then he finally eventually just left. But yeah, those cases, yeah, definitely. Like
it's crazy. Yeah, you need to do that. Exactly. Like, that's a great example you gave of when that's necessary.
Yeah, another thing was this guy who, again, it's animal abuse. So there's this guy whose friend told him that he had some kidney issue or some liver issue or something, and his friend told him that if he took a wooden bat and beat a puppy to death with it, it had to be a German Shepherd, then his liver issues would be solved. So this guy would literally beat a poor 2-month puppy with a bat. And his wife called up the cops, and they were like, it's a dog, I don't give a shit. So she called up animal welfare activists. His house was stormed by like a team of people. They took the puppy. He fled the city because there was a notice put out to every single pet store in the surrounding area. And they were like, if this guy comes and if you give him a dog and if we find out that it is your store, you will never do business again in your life. And that's it. He was just blacklisted. This is what happens when I'm not watching. Oh, God.
And animal abuse are the ones who ignore it. Well, yeah.
Of course, but that's a complete. That's a different. Yeah, that's a different thing entirely. And another example for that is also, so my dad definitely went to a lot of places with the intention of fighting and like going against. He's gone from a very young age. He's gone to rallies all his life. He's been anti whatever. Like, there's been a lot of racism and all that stuff in India.
I'm sorry. Wait, can you read? What? Can you read? Can you give your thoughts?
Yeah. So anyway, what I was saying was. Hey, milk needs to be in correct proportion, okay? Otherwise, there's no point to you eating cereal.
That is true. And the Audie point.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Audie is the least angry person.
Audie is the least angry person in front of other people.
The boy can get pissed.
The boy gets pissed all the time.
He's a nice person overall, but yes.
Yeah, but he gets pissed. Also, hey, my rage is it's not real rage, okay? I would just like to point it out. This is one of the few episodes where I'm pulling down the act and just not getting pissed about random things. I mean, it's fun though. Like, everyone knows I'm not being serious, so it's just fun.
Yeah. Like,
Brew has no rage.
Like, come on. I'm still talking to him, and I hate people who get angry, so I wouldn't be talking to him if he got angry all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now I forgot what I wanted to say. Fucking yeah. Go dog. On. No, after the dog, I had another example for it, but I forgot. Yeah.
No, but I have had examples where people have been like just randomly yelling at me. Like, I was going somewhere in a cab, right? And like I was with my aunt and uncle, and they're like ragey Indians who just love to yell at people for no reason. Like, he calls the cab guy and he's like, yo, where the fuck are you? Like, come, like, kind of thing, where it's just like, come, get in. Like, he's like, the guy's already waiting downstairs. My uncle's like, yo, where the fuck are you? Come down and all that shit. Okay. And I don't know. I go down first, and the cab guy's like, yo, what the fuck? Why the fuck you yelling at me? The cab guy's telling me, like, what the fuck? Why the fuck are you yelling at me, dude? And like, I was here since when I was waiting. Like, he's legit yelling at me, like, in Hindi. And I was like, calmly, I was like, yo, don't fucking yell at me. Like I didn't do shit. Like in Hindi, of course, like why are you yelling at me? I haven't even spoken to you. Like what's your problem in life? Like why are you yelling? And his face just was like, he was like, after that he was like the nicest person to me throughout the whole camera. He like offered me tea and shit,
My
dude. Like
God.
imagine, he was like so nice. And we've seen that happen. Like bro, you like remember we used to talk about the phase of nice bro, where like people used to talk shit and you just used to be nice. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm sorry for that. Like, and
That
it is
happened a
possible.
lot.
Like, when people are angry, if you're like just firm, or like if you just reply normally, they're like, oh, my bad. Like they
Yeah.
have this self-realization, right?
They do. And it's like you need to one of the main things about talking to someone who's raging all the time, I've realized, is that you need to have that calmness in front of their rage. Like you need to look them in the eye and just be like, that's it. And they're going to be like, okay, what?
Yeah.
I'm getting no reaction. Why is this guy not scared? Why is this guy not
Yeah, exactly.
why is this guy not getting angry? Why is he not shouting back? Why is he not fighting? And then they're like, okay, something's wrong, I need to calm down.
Something's wrong.
Also, what the fuck are these comments, man?
Bro rages every second of every.
Yeah,
Wait, are we talking about the rages in his sleep, bro, or Audi? Where his rages in scary?
whether his rage is scary or not is a different matter. He's like a small kitten. I am a kitten. I'm a kitten. Do I have cat ears somewhere? Nah.
No.
Okay, next episode will be getting cat ears.
Yes. But yeah, like that never really happens. And because I've never because I tend to live in a way where I don't get angry, and like I think there are ways to solve problems, right? Where you don't have to invest yourself emotionally in it and take it personally.
Yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, I've had issues with that throughout. Like people have legit thought like something's wrong with me. Like, yo, that's not normal. Like, that's weird that you don't get angry. That's something I find weird about you. Like, why don't you get angry? Why doesn't anything piss you off? And that's something I've struggled to like realize. I'm like, is that not normal? Like, do I need to be getting angry at shit all the time to come across as normal? Because I hate getting angry. Like, that's because of childhood trauma. Like, I hate that. Like, I will never do that. Like, And
Yeah.
I always think like that person is so used to
They've normalized anger in their life.
Normalized it, yeah, and they expect it from everyone, be it like as friends, like as partners, which is insane.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
Like, and it's not even something you can say out loud.
Yeah, like for example, so this when my housemate was moving out, he was like, we had to have some tough discussions about money and rent and all that, and he started shouting. He started accusing me of things. I was like, listen, I'm not even angry. I'm not even telling you to do X, Y, Z. But if you are going to continue shouting, then I'm not going to talk. I'm going to go into that room. I'm going to go play games until you calm down. Do whatever you want to calm down, but don't come and throw your anger at me. And then he was like, oh yeah, okay, fine. Okay, I'll stop. Now you talk. I was like, okay, bye. And then I just left. I came in, I started playing a game. He comes in 5 minutes later. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have shouted. Come, let's talk. I was like, okay, that's it. They probably come to expect this stuff because of IDK, Twitter, lol. Oh my god, people who get angry at everything are just annoying.
It is a pain, yeah. And like it was similar to you, bro. Like when people are yelling, like I pretend I'm deaf. Like if you're yelling at me, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Like if you wanna talk, you can talk normally.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna acknowledge you if you're yelling.
Yeah. And also I'm never going to like abandon a person's. I mean, anyone I know, if someone needs help, I'm going to help them the most I can.
Oh, for sure.
But the thing is, if you're going to be shouting at me, especially when I'm helping you, if you shout at me, until you come back and make it right, I'm not going to be the same to you. Like I'll be the same to you once you're like acknowledge that you fucked up, because I need you to understand that more than I need an apology. But still, I need you to understand that you fucked up, and until then, I'm just going to be like, cool, whatever, I don't care. If I'm putting myself out there for you and you're getting pissed about it, then I don't care. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to talk to you about it until you come and you yourself realize what you did.
Yeah, and anger is something like everyone feels, right, bro? It's like something every human feels, right?
Yeah.
Something that comes because of different situations in life. But yeah, a lot of people don't choose to project it. Like a lot of people do project it, and some people don't, right? It depends on how you choose to tackle things and how you choose to talk and express yourself.
Yeah.
But do you think it's necessary, like to, like as people say, it's necessary
Not
sometimes,
at all.
like to use it in normal life and to get things done? And do you think that's a necessary way of living?
Not at all. Unless, again, as I said, unless it's for something that you really feel passionate about, and that it's going to have a long-term effect on somebody's life. Okay, so when I say this, I'm not only talking about, like, fuck the government, eat the rich kind of thing, but even as an example, like I got angry with my mom. Okay, it's and I shouted at her, but not shouted, I scolded her more than anything. But it's because, so she's having this issue, which I don't want to bring out here, but she's having this issue, and I've told her to go to therapy for it, and she's having, like, and she refuses to go because she has this idea that, why do I need therapy? Like, she has that stigma in her brain,
Oh,
even
it's
though
very normal
children,
here
yeah,
in this country.
even though her children have gone for therapy, and even like a lot more than just therapy, and are continuing it to this day, she has this stigma in her brain, and she's suffering every day because of it. She's not able to live a normal life. And then she calls me and she tells me, like, oh my god, oh, do you know what happened today? This happened. And yesterday I was like, mom, I can't do this anymore. I scolded her for a good while, and then I was like, you need to go to therapy. Living a life like this is just better for you. Like, I don't even understand why you're alive. You're literally, like, what you're saying basically makes you sound like you want to be dead. So why
Yeah,
are you living a
exactly.
life like this?
No.
This is not cool. So
Yeah.
in that
And
case, I got angry
the-
because I was like, I can't handle this.
You were angry for her because you do care for her and you
Yeah.
wanted to get better. Like it was a different motivation, and even
Yeah.
like just just thinking out loud, like, was there any other way that could have been communicated?
Yeah, but the thing is, I have been communicating it in a nicer way for a long time.
Yeah.
But this time I was like, listen, mom, like, what are you doing? It's been a year since this started, and she's like, no, actually, this thing has always been there in my life ever since I had you both. But then it's become worse now. It's like, what? Then why aren't you doing it? It's been like 40 years of your life that you all had it, and then it's become worse now.
Yeah,
Why aren't you
yeah.
doing anything about it? And she was like, okay, don't shout. I'm like, listen, I'm not shouting, but I'm telling you that I'm not okay with this. You're not going to pull me into this if you're not ready to get help. If you're ready to get help, I will pay for the freaking therapy if you want, but I'm not ready
Yeah.
for you to keep calling me and telling me to do this without me having, like, and not listening to literally anything I say.
Yeah. And like that's totally understandable because you were in a situation where you're like, I've been telling my mom for years and I do actually need to tell her, like, please do this, like,
Yeah,
do this for me, like,
and more than
fix
anything,
your
I was just
health.
like, I can't do this. I like, you do what you want. If you think it's right to not go, then you don't go. But like, don't I can't keep listening to
Yeah.
you talk like this because it's just sad.
Yeah, it hurts, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sucks because you just want to help them, and sometimes
Yeah.
like your emotions also take over because of course you have emotions for her that are coming out in a different
course.
way. You're like, yo, just please get help. I want to see you, like,
Yeah,
live
get
a
better.
better life.
Yeah, that
so you get like
happens.
passionate about it. Yeah,
That happens a lot with
understandable.
me because, like, for some freaking reason, everyone around me who I'm like, okay, listen, can you go do XYZ, please? You're like, your back is broken, or you need therapy, or you need to make sure you get out of
Yeah.
your house. And they're all like, yeah, I'll do exactly that. And then they're like,
Mhm.
did Bruce say something to me? I can't remember. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Just
like
Christ,
Fauzan
guys.
said, it's not like you had. He said it's not like you had malice in that anger, so there isn't much wrong with it.
Yeah. I mean, still would have.
A good way to communicate at least how serious you are about it. Yeah, like you can, like, and he has been saying it nicely for a while, right? And so you were like, yo, do it, like, please do
Yeah.
it.
Therapy still
Fauzan
made.
also
My god.
apparently rarely gets angry, he says.
That's good.
Hmm.
Well,
That's good.
I like
Yeah.
people who don't get angry.
Maybe you get it, but you don't project your anger.
Yeah.
One Piece is One Piece better than therapy, bro?
Well, I've talked to my therapist and I gotta say One Piece is better, yes. I think my therapist, right, I'll just message her real quick. Yeah, she agrees.
She agrees. She's like, yeah, don't pay me, just pay for your Crunchyroll
Yeah.
subscription. No, but yeah, also depends on the therapist.
Of course.
Talk to the one I linked you to.
I
one I
did. I talked to her. I
She's
was
pretty
like,
cool. Like she's.
I was like, hey, could you please tell me your charges for a month? And she told me, I was like, okay, I can't afford that. Thank you very much.
Okay, I can't. Yeah.
One Piece is better than my life. My God, that's a new level of fandom right there.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's true. And like you were talking about, like there are situations also, you're talking about like governments and stuff where you have to stand for your basic rights,
Yeah.
and those situations
No, but even then, if you notice, like
those
most people are
situations,
doing
it's valid,
peaceful,
right?
peaceful protests, and they're marching against something, and the thing they do is they're shouting slogans. They're like bonding with each other to stand for something bigger than themselves, which I think is fine. Like I mean, I'm
Yeah,
even
it's
okay with like
great.
the
Like
French way of
even
doing things. Just take them out, done.
yeah, and like yeah, it's like both, it's valid, right? For example, even what's going on in Iraq, for example, like that's 100% valid, that anger is justified.
Yeah,
Like it's more than justified at
yeah,
this point. Hmm. And if you're like oppressed or like you don't have your basic rights, in that case it 1000% makes sense to lash out like that, because that's the only way that the people who are in that stage, who have been put in that stage by some way or the other, I don't know, rightfully or not, will
yeah,
listen to you, because otherwise like your voices will never reach them.
yeah,
So
definitely.
there are those situations where you do need to
Yeah.
actually passionately be like, fuck you, like give me my basic
Yeah,
rights, like what the fuck.
yeah. No, like I don't like. I have mixed thoughts about this because on one hand, like we are from the country which is like world famous for peaceful protests. So, but we are not
Yeah,
all
but the
that
peaceful
peaceful at the same
protests
time.
end in violent reactions from
Yeah,
the government, like lathi charge and
yeah,
shit. So, like peaceful protests are great. Like I would prefer that to, violent protests. Like,
yeah,
like it's terrible if you're like burning, because we've had protests here where they're like burning cars and property and stuff. Like, I think that's terrible, because like the people whose property are burning are innocent. They're innocent people who
yeah,
are also losing their jobs. Like it's like, yeah, the government will notice, but you're hurting a lot of people in that. You're hurting people who share the same views as
yeah,
you, and that is wrong. Like it is, but again, like I'm not saying be angry in a way where you're violent. It's
yeah.
okay
Just
to be
be,
like passionate and like,
yeah,
put it out there, that kind, like I'm not projecting but feeling that anger. Like,
like communicate that you are
that's what.
angry. Don't communicate your anger itself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like don't burn down, like don't break cars and burn cars and buses and all that shit. Like that's terrible, Because at the end of the day, those municipal workers are just earning like a living.
yeah,
They need jobs too. It's
yeah,
difficult for them too.
yeah. That's freaking
But
it.
yeah,
I don't know what else do we have to
but
talk
yeah,
about anger. I've been very like we've been very calm this entire episode, just chilling and just talking about like do you realize we didn't go off on any tangents and actually got done with everything we wanted to talk about?
yeah, it's quite interesting.
Are there any other
Mohila
points you have?
Manush be like.
Oh my God.
Sorry, just you can go through the comments if you have anything to say about them. But they're just memeing and talking
Yeah,
about.
pretty much.
But yeah, also like the first this I read of anger where like it agreed what I thought was when I was reading Siddhartha by Herman Hesse back in the day, and I was reading, and like of course it's like one of my favorite books ever.
Of course.
And when I was going through it, there's this moment where they talk about anger, right? Where he
Yeah.
talks about feeling anger but not projecting it in a way, but not like just feeling it and understanding it and
And
experiencing
then
it, and
letting
but
it
not
go.
like throwing it out people. Like holy shit, that like makes so much sense. That's what I do. That is amazing,
Yeah.
And exactly, Siddhartha was amazing. If you've read it, that's great. But that book is like, I love that book because of a lot of things. Like, it teaches you a lot about life, even though it's a story. Like we've talked about this,
It
for a
does,
long
yeah.
time. And there are lots of things that I agreed with, like principle wise. A lot of ways Siddhartha was acting, I was like, yeah, it's cool. Like you don't get angry, like, because it doesn't make sense. And there's so situations also, where he gets into situations, but he resolves them in like nice civil ways, without like reacting, right?
Yeah, he does.
And he's not a perfect human either,
No.
like that's the whole story. Exactly.
No, he's
And
not, yeah.
and some people may say, like, it's a perfect world and people live in different situations, like, and there are situations where you, like, I get angry because of my situation and blah blah blah, like people do say that, right?
Yeah.
But but don't you still believe that even though, like, yeah, people are in different situations, you can have, like, I don't know your situation, you don't know mine, kind of thing, right?
Exactly. So
So
there's no freaking reason for you to get into it. Like, yeah, nobody knows what anyone else is going through in general, and we don't know. How, I mean, like, if I imagine if we were in Siddhartha's time, we would probably be like terrible.
yeah. So
We're
again,
like
it's difficult.
we'd fall for vices so quickly, and we'd ruin our life. But yeah, if we did, like,
Speaking of vices, what?
if we didn't have access to the internet, I think we both would have been absolutely fucked by our vices.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. Crime and Punishment was better, Forrest Dan says. I read that when I was really young and I have terrible memory, so like I have to read it again to like remember. But I do remember liking it. And no, talking about also, fuck, I forgot my point. What were you saying?
About how we'll ruin our
talking
life because of vices.
Oh yeah, vices, right? They talk about how, like, a lot of things like alcohol get a lot of emotions out in people, and a lot of drugs get different emotions out. And like alcohol tends to like get the more angrier side of people out, right? That people have been suppressing. But do you think, like, do you think, is it just because they're suppressing it, or do you think it's people who feel it, project it, experience it, they don't have such reactions, right? It's only the ones who are suppressing it that have such
No,
reactions.
I know a lot of people who get angry even when they're drunk, and they're angry even when they're sober. So I don't really think it's a
Okay.
thing. I think suppressing it, it definitely will come out with alcohol because your inhibitions are lower, so you're ready to say a lot more. But yeah, I know a lot of people who are angry, sober, and drunk.
I see. Yeah, because there are also a lot of men, like a lot of people with different kinds of issues who get angry. Like, for example, war veterans, right? If you read about them, like, they're normally nice people, but when they go through when they have PTSD or when they get drunk and all, they react out violently,
I
which
mean,
is because of.
that is very understandable.
Yeah, that is
You've
very
been through literal
understandable.
hell on earth, and
Exactly.
I can't hold you accountable for that. Like, you can't use,
Yeah.
like, the thing is that you can't use your mental illness as an excuse, but of course there are times where you can't control it and it controls you. So people need to understand that.
Yeah, it is justified. Yeah, and one thing I don't understand is the sports fan anger thing. Like,
Oh,
that's
dude,
like,
I'm not even going to talk about it.
I
No, dude, fuck
fucking
that. Yeah,
hate
that's
that.
stupid.
Like,
Just
that's like the worst thing. That makes no fucking sense.
yeah, domestic abuse because
That
your
is
fucking
straight up
favorite
terrible.
team
Yeah.
lost. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Those
And
people
like,
aren't even human. Those are subhuman.
yeah, because for example, brew. Like, many people may not consider it, but esports, you're passionate about a certain team. Like if you're watching TI or something, you're passionate about teams, right? Like, you're following them, you're following this match, you want your team to win, right? That's playing in the game. Like, but you don't react out angrily if they lose.
What are you talking
Do
about?
you?
This is the third TV of the month right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they lose and you're like, ah, shit, that sucks. You're like,
Yeah.
and you're not like,
Or I piss off your
like
brother by telling him
rampaging
that everything is match fixed and he gets really, really angry about it.
Yeah, see, but yeah,
Yeah, like, even today, like the team I was supporting, Team Liquid, they were playing against.
oh,
Fuck, I forgot.
dude, I saw that. That was
Yeah.
fucking insane.
I was like,
Against
Miggy, they're losing. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. They're gonna
Thundercats?
Thunder Awaken, not Thundercats.
Okay, I don't know.
But I was like,
Yes.
they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. I'm telling you. I really wanted to be like, how did this coincidentally happen at this time? Huh? It's match fixed. And then I was like, no. I'll tell him they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. And when they lose, I'll be like, see, it was match fixing. But then they won somehow. So I
Dude,
can't
it was
even
an
claim
insane
that.
game, dude.
Yeah, it was
Holy
an insane
shit.
game.
Zai killed it.
Yeah, he literally killed everyone over there. Yeah.
Literally killed it. But yeah, again, like, it's understandable that, like, again, I used to watch a lot of football when I was in school because I used to play it
Same.
also. And for me, I never got angry when the team was losing.
Yeah.
But again, I was never really that passionate towards a team. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, you need to win kind of thing. Because again, I'm not very patriotic. I'm not very. I don't love a player so much that I want him to win all the time. I'm just watching a good game.
Yeah.
So I've never been as passionate as sports fans are. Like, if you go all around Europe, like you're wearing jerseys. Like, I've never been that kind of a person.
Wearing
you know?
jerseys, beating
Like,
the shit out of each other,
yeah,
beating the shit out of
yeah,
their
beating the
wives,
shit
their
out of
mothers, their
exactly.
brothers. Yeah.
Everyone, like, you know, destroying like public property because
Yeah.
their team lost. And so I'm like, it's like I have never understood that, you know.
Anger
And I've
makes
always
sense when
been
you're
like,
the one losing. No, it actually doesn't. If you lose, it just means that you just weren't good enough.
you
You should
haven't
be.
done
You can only
enough.
be angry
You
at yourself and not anyone else.
yeah, exactly.
And you
Be
can't show
angry
that
at yourself.
at anyone.
Feel
And
it. Yeah.
come on, man. Like at the world level, you can't be the best continuously. There are going to be people who are better than you. Who keep. It keeps changing.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And you see people reacting in different ways. There are people who cry, you know, there are people who just sit there thinking about, like, when people lose, like, you know, in sports, you see different reactions.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to go and destroy something or hit
Yeah.
someone just because you lost, you know. It's your fault.
Yeah, Dan, I agree with that. It's more sensible than getting
Yeah.
angry over others losing. Yeah. No, but
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I used to love Navi, and when Navi
Yeah.
eventually went down and lost, and then they they disbanded the original roster that we were supporting. I remember clutching onto my Navi jersey and being like, they're gone. I wasn't like, hey, girlfriend, could you come over? I want to beat the shit out of you because my favorite team disbanded. Like, bitch, how dare you?
Make any
No,
fucking
that just
sense.
makes no sense. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, it makes no sense, and it sucks for people who have grown up in situations in families like that where they have experienced, you know, things like that. It's actually terrible, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it sucks when, like, I'm supporting when I'm watching and I'm like, yo, this team is really good. And if they lose, I'm like, oh, they lost, damn it, you know.
Yeah, they
But
weren't
I'm
good
not
enough
like,
this
oh,
time.
yeah. But I'm like, oh, cool, that other team won. Like, you know what? I'm like, yo, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. They did a good job. Kind
I mean,
of thing.
I can definitely understand supporting a team so much that when the other team wins, you're just like, fuck, they won.
Yeah, 100%.
Like there are teams I actively don't support. I'm actively against in Dota. But for example, Team Tundra
Okay.
right now, right? I actively do not like them, and that's for a very specific reason. That's because they kicked out the guy who was trying to keep everyone from being kicked out in the team. Like Fata, you remember
but
Fata?
You don't. Yeah, I know,
Right?
but again,
And
you don't know the whole story. You
I
don't know what
definitely-
goes on. You don't know if it's organization and what.
No.
Right?
So that's the thing. The organization had a contract till 2025, I think, where all
Okay.
5 players had to stay together. And Fata came out after he got kicked. Fata came and said
Pata pretty cool. I like.
they
that
wanted
he's
to.
nice.
They wanted to kick someone else to get in this player, but I said no. I blocked this attempt multiple times, and then when they went to the player that they wanted to originally kick, and then told him that we'll kick Fata out and get the new player, he immediately agreed, and he became the new captain. So I've lost respect for that team entirely. And I'm telling this to Mickey as well, because I was like, I don't give a shit if they win TI. I don't give a shit if they win TI 5 times in a row. It's just you can't, like, that you're still a shit person. You kicked out
ethically,
and by the way, 33, who was on the team with Fata, they both have been friends for like a decade, more than a decade, like close friends.
wow.
They've been playing together for more than 5 years. Like, what the fuck? How the fuck does that make sense?
Again, it doesn't. But yeah, again, you're not like the way of processing it. Also, you're not like raging about it.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
It's just something.
I'm just like,
yeah, I don't
I'm
like
like
this
fuck you
team,
guys.
that's
Like,
it.
you lost
Yeah,
all support from
exactly.
me. That's it. Whatever
Yeah,
you
that's
do.
it.
Like, if I'm ever going to buy
And that's where it
merchandise,
ends, right?
yeah. If I'm ever going to buy merchandise, I'm not going to be like, oh, Tundra. I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't like this organization has let something terrible happen. I'm not going to support them. That's as simple as that.
Bro, being a Dota fan makes so much sense.
Oh my God.
But dude, like a lot of people do that. Even
Yeah,
like,
but one
like
second,
shows we don't.
I wonder how he found out as a Dota fan. Was it because we did 2 episodes on Dota anime talking about how we love the game?
No, dude, but also like a lot of people get angry about, like, you know, like if we don't like a show, we don't like a show, right? But people get pissed, like, you're like, how dare you not like this show? You know, this show is amazing, like Attack on Titan and all that, right?
Hey, Attack
Like-
on Titan is a
like that
goddamn
literally-
masterpiece.
That literally makes people angry if you don't like something in it.
What's
Like,
the
and
author's
that's
name?
insane.
Isayama.
Yeah,
Isayama is literally a god.
Yeah, and it like actually we were talking about how like a lot of artists, mangakas and all get death threats because people are pissed at, like, so angry at them. Like that is
Yeah,
insane
like
levels of
Hideaki
anger.
Anno's
Hmm.
fucking
Hmm, hmm,
journey,
hmm.
or
Yeah,
Tite Kubo.
yeah, Tite Kubo, like, all that stuff sucks. Like, it's not necessary. They are getting angry for the wrong reasons. Like, because you're passionate about something and you love it so much, you
Yeah,
shouldn't project it like
exactly.
using anger. Hmm.
Whenever anyone, I get angry whenever anyone rates One Piece above a 3 on 10. I start sending random otaku fan mail.
Random.
Well
Well,
done.
what do you have to
It's
say,
a
bro?
20 on 10.
Oh.
But yeah, it's stupid.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not like the irrational,
But yes,
stupid
guys.
people who do stupid things, like beating people up, sending death threats. I don't even think they're.
Yeah.
I think they're just
Hmm.
children without any
No,
emotional
they're
control
yeah,
at all.
yeah. Either they're like actual children or they're like mentally like immature.
Yeah.
Just 10-year-olds raging on the internet. But yeah.
Oh my god! If a 10-year-old is reading Bleach and watching Evangelion, I don't think that's a healthy way to live life, man. I don't think it's a good start.
Early existential crisis.
Yeah, they're gonna have a
No,
start
but-
life crisis right there.
But yeah, that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
if you are angry, it's okay to feel it, but like, do not project it
Yeah.
onto others. That's all we'll say.
You can end with a quote from Buddha that Sid. I want it as the title, but Sid said Buddha doesn't understand YouTube titling and how to do it.
Yes,
Which is
he
that.
doesn't know the algorithm, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, if he did, he would have been really ahead of his time, I must say.
Yeah,
But
that is true.
the Buddha said that you won't be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. And that's what I'd like to end this with. So,
Boom.
see you guys next week.
See you guys next week. If you have any topics suggested, we did see our topic, Forest Dan. What was this topic, dude?
Nature versus nurture.
Yeah, but if you can give other suggestions, we may pick up something interesting and discuss that. Cool. But
Bye.
yeah, see ya. Bye.